Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and this is the final part of the Hero Star Card series, where I will be discussing all of the best star cards for the light side in Heroes vs Villains. Now, if you've missed the Villains version of this, it is the last video back on the channel, but I will post links to that, as well as the two Galactic Assault Star Card Hero videos as well, down in the description below. So if you guys want to check any of those out, make sure to do so after that video. Before I do jump into this, I just want to say thank you guys so much for the support. It's been an amazing couple of weeks, and numbers are growing rapidly, so thank you guys so much for everything you do on the channel. And with that out of the way, let's jump into it. Be sure to subscribe if you are brand new, and leave a thumbs up on the video as well. Anyways, let's get to it. So the first hero I am going to be talking about today is Anakin Skywalker. Now, the first star card I use for Anakin is called Tenacious, which gives Anakin 100 increased maximum health. I think this is a good star card in Heroes vs Villains and Galactic Assault, so I do have it on my loadout for both, so this is the card that I start with for Anakin. The second card I use is called Massive Strikes, which deals an extra 20 damage per lightsaber attack. This is huge in Heroes vs Villains and can sometimes mean the difference between outswinging someone in a lightsaber duel, so the bonus damage definitely helps. Now, for the third card, I've seen a lot of people using the Steamroll card, but for me personally, I just don't think it's that worth it. I think it takes too long to build up the stamina reduction, so for me, I love using the Attraction star card. The Attraction star card gives pull dominance up to 5 meters increased range, and as you guys will see from the gameplay in the background, this is perfect when you're playing against a bouncy Palpatine or a Boba that loves to fly away. I did come up against both of them recently while using this star card, and it's so easy to just pull them back in and finish them off. So this is the star card loadout that I use for Anakin. Moving on from Anakin though, let's talk about General Kenobi. The first star card that I use is Jedi Resilience, which gives you increased maximum health regeneration by an extra 100 points. The second card I use is called Perfect Defense. This gives Obi-Wan's blocking lightsaber and blaster attacks to drain less stamina. So this gives an improvement of up to 40% on less stamina drain, which is amazing for Obi-Wan. Being able to block in Heroes vs Villains for longer, whether it's blasters or lightsabers, is definitely a huge help. Now, stacking on top of that as well, we're going to be using the Safeguard star card. After blocking 5 blaster shots or 2 abilities or lightsaber attacks with his block, Obi-Wan gains a permanent damage reduction of 2% to all his stamina costs to a maximum of 40%. So you can get up to 40% extra stamina with Obi-Wan just by blocking a bunch of lightsaber attacks. And the way Heroes vs Villains is right now, there's a lot of new players who tend to just swing spam at you, so pretty much standing there and holding block is going to charge this up for Obi-Wan so that you don't have to worry about stamina, and you'll get a huge increase up to 40%. So that's some advice for anyone playing Obi-Wan. If you are in an early round and you know the enemy team is a bunch of swing spammers, just block for a little while, build this stamina up, and then go to town on them, because it will help you out in a big way. Next up, after Obi-Wan Kenobi, we are going to be talking about Finn. The first star card I use for Finn is called In Charge, and during Undercover Team, Finn will grant damage reduction of 2% for each trooper defeated, or 100 damage to villains to a maximum of 36%. Honestly, if you guys aren't using Undercover Team when playing Finn, you really should give it a try, because it absolutely melts villains, especially if you can land headshots with it. So the fact that you can get damage reduction from using this, I think is also an added bonus, so make sure to give it a go in Heroes vs Villains. The next star card is No More Running, and after 3 kills with Deadeye, its damage is increased. I think this is great when you're playing against the likes of Boba or Palpatine, or those players that are a lot harder to hit. This comes in handy really often. So once you've killed him a couple of times, this is going to charge up really well, and you're going to get a massive amount of damage. Now, in saying that, Finn does play more of a support role in Heroes vs Villains. He's never really going to be the main killer on their team, unless you have someone that's really practiced and really good with him. So make sure you stay behind your team, or at least stay with your team when you're playing Finn, and give this card a go. The last one is called Raise to Do One Thing, which gives Deadeye a larger lock-on radius by 25%. Again, this is great for when you're playing against Palpatine or Boba, who are up in the air, and they're quite far away. This just gives you that longer lock-on radius to use with Finn. Next up, we're going to talk about Lando, and the first star card I'm going to be using is Hot and Cold, which gives him 150 bonus health. The second star card I use is called Quick Shock, which if the disabler is detonated within 5 seconds of attaching to a surface, the shock explosion is stronger and enemies are shocked for 30% longer. The third star card I use is called Buckle Up Baby, and every enemy trooper defeated, or 100 damage to villains in this case, reduces the heat per shot of Lando's Night Sniper by 2% to a maximum, and it can go up to 34%. Now for me, this star card is really good. If you can do damage on damage on damage to enemy villains, this is just going to give you the ability to fire for that much longer in the future. But again, the key is staying alive for longer so that you have time to cause that damage. Next up on the list, we're going to be talking about Princess Leia, and she's not the best in Heroes vs Villains, but hopefully this star card loadout will help you guys out. The first star card I use is High Spirit, which gives her the ability to regenerate 100 more base health. The Relentless Firing star card is the second one that I use, and the E11 Rapid Fire Blaster can be fired for a longer period of time, as the time reduction per blaster shot is decreased by up to 55%. Now, if you haven't tried out Leia's middle ability in Heroes vs Villains, it can absolutely melt certain villains, the likes of Boba and Palpatine, and even like Kylo Ren and Darth Maul. If you can land clean headshots, this absolutely destroys some of the villains. So you want to be using this as much as possible, and this star card allows you to fire it off for longer. On top of that, we're going to be using Rebel Heart, which gives Leia less overall damage taken while wielding the E11 Rapid Fire Blaster. So again, this stacks with the last star card to give you extra damage reduction while you're firing off that E11. Moving on from Leia, we are going to be talking about Luke Skywalker. The first card I use for Luke is Jedi Fighter, which gives Luke's melee strikes and blaster deflections less stamina drained by 35%. Again, Heroes vs Villains is a game of who has more stamina or who can preserve their stamina the best. So if you have more stamina to start with, you're already at an advantage. The second star card I like to use is Extended Push Reach. This just gives you that much more range by 30% on your force push. And the third card that I use for Luke Skywalker is called Intensify. With Intensify, every enemy trooper defeated, or in this case 200 damage to villains, increases Luke's lightsaber damage by 2, up to 36 extra damage per swing. So if you can cause a bunch of damage to villains while staying alive, you can build up to 36 extra damage for every single time you hit an enemy villain. And trust me, when this is fully loaded up, watch out, because Luke becomes an absolute beast to the point where he's almost unstoppable one-on-one, unless he gets caught up with a choke or a freeze or one of those other force abilities. Next up on the list is of course Rey, and the first star card that I use for her is Balance. With Balance, Rey gains an extra dodge ability charge, but her stamina drains 15% faster. I think getting the extra dodge is 100% worth it. Part of lightsaber dueling in this game is really reliant on timing your dodges, and if you have 3, those of you that play Count Dooku know what this is like and how much of a big advantage it can be for your lightsaber duels. Rey having this card attached definitely helps out in Heroes vs Villains, so make sure to give it a try. The second star card I use is Street Fighter, and this allows Rey's melee strikes to drain 15% less stamina. Now, like I said before, stamina is one of the main keys to lightsaber dueling in this game mode, so this is going to definitely help. Now, last but not least for Rey, Opportunist is the last star card that I'm using. With this star card, Rey deals bonus damage to enemies affected by any immobilizing effect, including Mind Trick. So if you Mind Trick an enemy, you are going to deal up to 15 bonus damage per hit with Rey's lightsaber strike. So this is a hugely important star card. This is going to give you that bonus damage output that you need when you're Mind Tricking an enemy. Next up, we are taking a look at Jedi Master Yoda. Again, the first star card that I use for him is called Jedi Mentor. This allows Yoda to receive 8% less overall damage, which just gives him a little bit better defense in Heroes vs Villains. When he's going up against the likes of Vader and Kylo Ren that have quite high damage outputs, this can really help. The second star card is Lightsaber Mastery, which allows Yoda to swing his lightsaber with ease, draining less stamina when striking by 15%. Again, another stamina card, like I said, hugely important for this game mode. And finally, Opposing the Dark Side is the last star card that I use. With this star card, Yoda deals more damage with his lightsaber strikes to enemy heroes, and he gets a bonus of 16 damage per hit, which again is just going to make him a little bit more viable against the stronger villains like Vader and Kylo Ren. Moving on to my personal favorite hero to play in Heroes vs Villains, we are going to be talking about Han Solo. The first star card I use is Airburst, which gives bonus damage to the detonite charge if it's detonated in the air by up to 20%. So this star card is definitely the same as GA, as well as the second star card that I use, which is Heavily Modified Blaster, and in this case, an improved capacitor allows Han's DL-44 to build less heat when firing by 25%. Now, those two cards are exactly the same as the cards I use for GA, but for Heroes vs Villains, I switch out the Broad Shoulders card for Sharpshooter's Calm. Sharpshooter's shots reduce less active time by up to 25% when this card is equipped, and in Heroes vs Villains you've got a little bit more reason to actually use the Sharpshooter ability, and I find with this star card attached, you can absolutely melt a hero from full health down to almost nothing with one use of the ability. So I definitely recommend giving that a try because it's really fun to use and it does an absolute ton of damage. And last on the list is going to be Chewbacca. The first star card that I use with him is bonus health. Giving him 150 extra health again makes him a little bit more viable when going up against lightsaber heroes. The second card I use is called Shocked and Vulnerable. This allows enemies that are hit by the shock grenade to be more vulnerable to all damage for the shock duration by an extra 9%. So you're just pretty much getting bonus damage when they are shocked. And to stack on top of this, I will be using the Extended Shock star card, which makes the shock grenade shock enemies for a longer duration, but has a 20% recharge time extra. In saying this though, you do get 40% extra shock duration with this star card, so using this with also the Shocked and Vulnerable card is definitely great means for Chewie. I honestly don't think Chewbacca is that great for heroes vs villains, but if you do like playing him and he's one of your favorite characters so you want to give him a go, give this star card loadout a try. Anyways, that is everything for these star cards, guys. I hope it helped and I hope you enjoyed the video and the gameplay. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are running for star cards in heroes vs villains, and if you guys are planning to try my loadouts in HVV next time you jump online. Anyways, I'm gonna get out of here now. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I appreciate the support. Make sure to leave a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you all in the next one. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll see you guys in the next video, and may the force be with you always.
The Sith